Thank you for kicking it with Tara. I'm your girl, Tara, and I have a special guest today, and her name is Tara Greenway, who is a master healer, teacher, and speaker who helps people move beyond their old negative beliefs and energy patterns using energy tools. She is also a co-founder and co-director of Theta Healing NYC, which is a healing school in Manhattan. Hi, Tara. How are you doing today?
Hi, Kira. I'm good. How are you? I'm so happy to be here with you.
Excited to have you on. Little backstory, everyone. I actually found Tara from her articles on Google when I was looking up things concerning clairvoyance. So it's like you're my mini Oprah on here. So I'm excited about this interview today.
I love that so much. That is a very high compliment.
It is, because when I was reading your articles, I was like, wow, you were just like giving me so much knowledge in just a few different articles. I was like, I have to have her on when I start my podcast. So I thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you. And, I have glanced at, some things that you've been doing and just your story, your website. You are one of the many people who is bringing healing and light to our world, and it takes a million of us. So thank you.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Well, I grew up in a little town, beautiful little town, and was taught a lot of religion and spirituality, and I loved it. Like, God was everything to me, and I got so much love and nurturing, and that was beautiful. But it also gave me, what I took from it was a lot of perfectionism too, So I moved from my little hometown to New York City when I was 22 to be an actress, and that was really exciting, and I loved New York. I still do. I stayed there for 30 years, recently moved upstate a little bit. But I loved the dynamism of it. I loved people. I went to be an actress, but right away I started to also work with children who were in welfare hotels and, work with all kinds of people. And I was always kind of a healer, because if you're a healer, you're just a healer. You can't help it, But I was pretty much into the acting thing and pursued it and loved it and, did a lot of theater and a little film and a little TV and blah, blah, blah. And then I started to get disillusioned with a lot of things, and the main thing was that I was having horrible physical pain in the form of migraines. And I tried everything. I definitely went to regular doctors. I recommend that if you have an illness. And they gave me stuff for the pain, But I knew that there was something more deeply wrong, because I kept, taking the stuff to, if you're in pain, take stuff for pain. But the fact that the migraines kept coming back and back and got worse and worse and worse, I knew something was intrinsically wrong, And then I started on my alternative healing journey, and I started to go to all kinds of different alternative healers, and everything would help. Like, I would go to the acupuncturist, and I'd be like, this is amazing, wow, and my migraines would go away for 3 months, and then they would come back. I'd go to an applied kinesiologist, and, he would give me supplements, and I would change my diet, and the migraines would go away for 3 months, and then they would come back. So I was beginning to catch on, there's something not just wrong with my body, but there's, it's all linked. And this is something that I think most people know today, but at the time I didn't know in my 20s and even 30s. It's mind, body, and spirit. You can't have one without the other. So then I started addressing, I thought I was on this long spiritual journey and doing well on it and everything. I was, super into it. But I started to address those spiritual systems, and what I found was that my belief systems were part of what was causing this physical pain. And so one of the alternative techniques that I explored, one of the many, was Theta Healing. And Theta Healing specializes in looking at what beliefs we have that are kind of running our life, even though we might not even realize we have them, because they're subconscious instead of conscious. And I was able to finally become free of the migraines and release all these old negative belief patterns that I didn't want and didn't even, realize that I had anymore. And it changed my life, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. I'm supposed to be helping other people to understand that their belief systems are creating their lives, and that they get to change their belief systems. And that's when I went out and, like you mentioned, co-founded Theta Healing NYC with two other amazing healers, Eric and Sarah Faith Brummett. And that really changed everything for me and for hundreds and hundreds of other people that we were able to reach and to teach. And and then I could go on from there, because now I do all kinds of other healing techniques as well. But I'm just talking so much. Do you have a question?
No, I love it, because I feel like you gave us a really great brief overview of the things that we're going to talk about in just your life in general, and how most of us are as well, because like me included, I didn't realize until 30, and I'm 30 now, that how much of my mind played with my ailments and things. Because last year I had a lot of nerve issues and vitamin deficiency with my body, so it set me down. And I'm a very active person and things, so really. And they try to put me on medicines and things, and so I'm like, well, I'm going to do the holistic route. So me actually looking more into that factor really had me into okay, more things are with my mind and things, as opposed to just a medicinal type of way. So I really appreciate you sharing that as well. And I know you're talking about the Theta Healing. I love the one about the 3 R's. Can you talk a little bit about that one?
Yes, I love the 3 R's, partly because, like I said, it really has helped me, but also if I had to choose one thing that I do with my clients that's made the biggest difference, I think it would be that. Luckily, I don't have to choose one thing. There's a lot of things, but the 3 R's are certainly big. By the 3 R's, of course, most people think that means reading, writing, and arithmetic, right, stuff you learn in school. But in Theta Healing, we say that the 3 R's are rejection, resentment, and regret. So these are not things that we want to learn. These are things that we want to unlearn. We want to release ourselves from these things. And why? Not only because it helps us to be more spiritual and just better, purer people, but because that energy of resentment and regret and rejection is a very heavy energy. Like we both just said, the mind is the body, is the spirit. There's no separating those three. We try, and every once in a while something seems like it's just wholly one or the other, either body or mind. But it never is, It's all three, and I don't know why we in the Western world have such a hard time with that. In the more Eastern traditions, they've sort of figured that out 5,000 years ago. But our beliefs, like I resent, just for example, if somebody has, I resent my mom, that belief is really heavy. We have molecules of emotion. So there's this genius, she actually passed away, but there was this genius doctor, pharmaceutical, I think it's called I don't know. She's such a complicated doctor, I don't know how to say it. But Candace Pert, who wrote several books, one of the first of which was called Molecules of Emotion. And so she approached from a very scientific viewpoint how we actually have molecules in our body that cause us to feel stuff. And the molecules that cause us to feel resentment are big and heavy, and almost everybody has them. Of all my thousands of clients, I've only had one client, I was amazed, that didn't have resentment towards somebody. And she was this beautiful, incredible 80-something-year-old woman who was just such an angel that she had already cleared all her resentments. But for example, if somebody resents their mom, that's going to carry over. Not only are they going to feel a heaviness in their body without even knowing it because they're so used to it, but they're going to treat people that are in a similar relationship type to their teacher, any boss, even a woman friend. They're going to have the same resentment unconsciously, subconsciously toward those people as they do towards their mom until they clear the resentment. So how do you clear a resentment? Because, it's kind of hard. I mean, it's hard to just it's not hard, but it's hard to muscle yourself into it. You should forgive that person, That's hard. But in baby healing, in this 3 R's exercise, what we do is ask the universe, the creator of all that is, source, God, whatever you want to call that energy that is in all things. It's like an energy of unconditional love. We ask that energy, what is the lesson that my soul was trying to learn from this horrible relationship with my mom? Because that's always what it is. Our souls came here just wanting to have experiences to learn. Our souls are all about learning. And unlike us, from the human perspective, our souls don't really care how hard it is, So as humans, we're like, I want things to be easy. I want love. I want abundance, But our souls are like, no, 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 no. What's important here is that we learn lessons. Now, of course, you can have love and abundance and learn lessons, and that's a belief or a download that we do. Because you want to have all those things. But your soul is very concerned with learning lessons. So whenever you run into an issue in your life, especially one that keeps repeating, you know what I mean? It's like, wow, this is familiar, Ask yourself or ask the universe, what is the lesson that my soul wants to learn? And then you release that person. You don't have to talk to them. You can do it in your mind. Just in your mind, you release that person from teaching you that lesson, whatever it is. And it's probably going to be kind of the opposite of however they treated you. Like if somebody resents their mom, it's going to be probably because she treated them badly. Either she was verbally abusive or she stood by without knowing what to do while the father was abusive. You're going to know the reason that you resent somebody. And a lot of times the lesson that your soul is trying to learn from it is simply the opposite of however they treated you. So that if you were, for example, treated without respect and without any boundaries, then what your soul was wanting to learn is I deserve respect and I get to set boundaries. And so you learned it from this like negative experience. So when you just go and release that person from teaching you that, because it's like, oh, no, I got it. I don't need to keep relearning this over and over and over. I got it now. Stop trying to teach me. That's like, you're acting like I flunked that grade, that, deserve love and respect grade. And I got left back and I'm having to repeat that grade over and over and over. But that's not true. I don't need to repeat it because now I've brought it to my consciousness. I've got it. And thank you so much. You taught me. You were a perfect, excellent teacher, mom, who verbally abused me, And then you get to move on from there and you actually move into forgiveness. You forgive that person because they were just doing their job that your souls decided to do together, this lesson you decided to learn together, and you let them go. And, you let them off the hook, kind of. And then it not only changes your relationship with that person, even if they've died, by the way. I've done it with many clients who they're like, well, I can't do it now because she's died or he's died. So it doesn't matter. Your relationship still exists, and it's still bothering you, in fact, But we don't have to go to the person, and let's say it was somebody who really was abusive. I'm not encouraging people to get back into an abusive relationship. I'm just encouraging them to see what the lesson was, release that person, because it releases the person themselves as well. They move into forgiveness, and then it's like, done. It's an energy of completion, of forgiveness, and what people always say after that 3 R's exercise is, oh my gosh, I feel so much lighter. Because like I said, they just got rid of this heaviness of resentment. And rejection and regret are similar, and we've added a 4th R now, revenge. Because those are all kind of similar energies. I find resentment the very most in people, but there's a lot of regret and a feeling of rejection too. And our souls are just trying to learn the lesson, so we learn it, and then we release the person from teaching it. And either we continue to not have any contact with them, but it's not bothering us emotionally anymore, or our relationship will improve. And not only our relationship with that person, but our relationship with everybody else who's in the same kind of category as that person. So like I said before, if it's your mom, than maybe your female boss, maybe your, teacher, your female teacher, maybe your female friends. Your relationships with all of them will change because you got the lesson now.
Yeah, that was extremely powerful. Because
it's amazing.
I so appreciate the way that you shared that, so everybody can fully understand. And I'm a living testament to that myself, because this year I definitely made a vow to myself to put myself first and really cleanse myself on a lot of things, do a lot of shadow work. And it was a lot of releasing, because in my community where I come from, we put things in the back burner and we act like things didn't exist, but yet it's still existing in our mind. And so we really do have to address the things so we are able to release it, because it really doesn't go away and we don't realize it. And so I had to do a lot of that within my own self this year. And it really does make you feel so much lighter, because it's people that haven't done the best things to you, but like you said, it's a lesson in releasing it, forgiving. I mean, and it really does. It takes a lot of courage to do it.
It does take courage.
But it takes a lot of courage to do it, but it 100% makes you feel so much lighter and so much more refreshed. And then I feel like your cycle of life starts back over again, and you're working on good karma and good things to come, because you're not holding on to such negative baggage.
Absolutely. And that, it's interesting, because I think you and I went through similar issues. We didn't even know each other, but we were going through similar issues in the last year, because you said a lot of nerve pain, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I had that too last year. So suddenly I thought I had my life all figured out, right? I was like very into teaching and practicing theta healing, and I'd actually moved out of the city to this beautiful place, and I'm so blessed to have this lovely home in nature, which is what my family and I wanted, and things were rolling around beautifully, and then suddenly I was just struck down with this nerve pain such as I have never experienced. And it's a long story, but long story short, in 3 ER trips during COVID later, and everybody thought it was COVID, and it wasn't. I thought it was a brain tumor or something, and it wasn't. It was Lyme disease. So I was silly and thought I could just wander around the woods and, meditate without wearing a hat and, covering up so the ticks couldn't get me. And so I got Lyme disease in my, it attacks your system, and mine was my nervous system. And so there I was, and I wasn't able to do the theta healing on myself. I certainly was able to ask my friends to help me out, and they did. But that's when I realized I needed something more somatic even than theta healing. And we need, all different ways. You just mentioned you worked on your shadow self. Yes, that's a beautiful way. And I know there's hundreds of different techniques and ways out there to work on yourself and change. And I encourage people to just choose the one that they feel most comfortable with, or like you said, it takes a lot of courage. Maybe comfortable is the wrong word, but the one that they resonate with, the one that they're like, that's what I need. Your intuition will tell you. Your heart will lead you. And so I couldn't do theta healing on myself like I have been for 15, 17 years. And so I started applying EFT, tapping to myself, and also Eden energy medicine, which is just pure energy work. And that's when I became more aware that it's not just our belief systems. It's also, we're not just like heads. I'm very I like to think, and I like to talk about belief systems, and I'm intellectual, and that's great. But I also happen to have a body, and I happen to be on Earth, and so we have to, understand that our energy systems are real, and if we can, I don't want to say the word control, but if we can be aware of and be the kind of the masters of our own energy, that's when we can come into complete health. It sounds to me like you were just beaten down, which a lot of people have been this past year with the coronavirus and everything else. It's not like everything else stopped or other problems didn't stop, just COVID was added on top of it. And it was really the last straw for so many people, which is why I'm offering all these services that I offer. I'm offering a lot of free services right now because I just want to help out, But we're all coming to the place of realizing oh, I have to actually take care of my energy. oh, the way the energy is flowing through my body is hurting me, or is all
Right.
bottled up in one place, and other people say that I'm mean and shouting at them, and I just feel actually like a victim, and what's going on? And, like, so yeah, this tapping thing and Eden energy work thing has been like the next step in my journey, and it's so cool, Kira.
Yeah, I definitely, I 100% agree, especially when you were speaking on your journey last year. With mine, it started around February and really didn't end until November. And anybody that knows me, I'm very active. I like to eat clean. For the most part, I'm very active out and about since forever. And it really shut me down. I could barely walk. Anything I touched, my hands would burn. It really, and I still had to work and things, so it really took a toll on me emotionally and physically, because I was like a fragile dandelion. And so just going through that journey by myself, it was, we go through different things and it becomes a blessing in disguise, because I had been praying for it to find my purpose, my full purpose in life in my chapter 30. And I feel like with that situation, it 100% had me at my lowest, but it really had me to where I'm at now, which is my highest, because like you said, it showed me I had to clear out toxicity of myself that I was doing to myself, other people around me, other environments and things. And so just clearing all that out, the energies and things, doing shadow work within my own self, learning about energies, learning about meditation, learning about just vitamins and different things, a different route to take. Like me, I run and I walk every single day. I didn't know if I was going to be able to walk properly last year. And so when I'm able to do just normal things that I took for advantage, for granted, like now it's just like a blessing. Like I used to drink quite a bit and just put like a lot of toxins, like bad food and things in my body. Like this whole entire year, it really changed my life. And just even like you said, the energies of changing and shifting that dynamic, that's like the highest level. And it started with my mind, of like stimulating my mind on positive things as well. And so it really affects the health of my body to really feel like how I did like back when I was 18 at 30. So all the things you're saying definitely resonate, and it is real, because we both are living testaments to it.
Absolutely. And it's interesting. You were praying for a purpose and to be shown your purpose in life, and I was praying to completely be lifted out of pain again. I don't know. I seem to have this pain theme in my life, this physical pain thing, because the migraines had actually returned. And it was a hormonal thing. It was, when I went into menopause, I hadn't had them for years, but then they came back. And at first I was like, whatever, okay, it's only like once a month. It's not a big deal like it was before. And that's true. But I started to get tired of even that. And I was like, Creator, let's just completely 100% get through this. Please, whatever it takes to get me completely out of this pain. And then I was plunged into much, much, much worse pain. So I was pretty angry. I was pretty angry at God and at myself, and at just like I felt very victimized, and that's never a good place to come from, that place of victim. But we have to have a lot of compassion for people who feel that way, even for ourselves when we feel that way. Because when you're in physical pain, you're not thinking in your highest way. But interestingly, once it was finally diagnosed and I was, getting the proper treatment, I took the antibiotics because I had to get those bacteria out of my system, and I took the pain relievers because I was like 10 on a scale of 0 to 10. I was like lying in bed screaming. But as soon as I could, I started looking up like, what is it that I could do nutritionally for this? And of course, like I said, I was already looking for the beliefs and everything. What I needed was to come at myself with more compassion and more patience, which is not my strong point, patience. But what it led me to is similar to what you just said. I went from being, I thought I ate fairly healthy. Like, I was eating healthy, and sure, sometimes I would have a glass of wine or some chocolate, some ice cream for dessert or something. But basically I was eating very healthy, but I was a committed omnivore. Like I had vegetarian and vegan friends, and I was like, I do not know how you do that, because I need this protein, and I'm like a O blood type, which they say needs meat and everything, and I was like totally into it. But when I read that, because Lyme disease can be hard to get over if it's advanced, which mine was. And I was like willing to do anything. So I was like, I read that a vegan diet would help, release the Lyme. And I was like, okay, I'll try it for a few weeks and see if I can do it. I really didn't think I could. I went vegan. I can do it. It's months, and I don't even know how many months later, 7 months later or something, I'm still vegan. And vegan is giving up not only meat, but eggs and dairy, so cheese.
Right. Dairy, yeah.
Oh, that was hard, Kira. That was a sacrifice.
Yes, I love it. I haven't reached it. I haven't reached that point.
And maybe you don't have to, but for me, so I did it just to heal from the Lyme. By the way, there's a lot of really great, fake cheese, that's non-dairy that they make now. Violife is so good if people want to try Violife, and it's available just in my regular grocery store. It's not that hard to get. There's a lot of alternatives to cheese and milk and even eggs. There's this egg substitute that I get sometimes. Anyway, I was doing it for the Lyme, right? And suddenly one day I realized it's been months since I had a migraine. When I went vegan, my migraine stopped. And that's what I had been praying for. Interesting, right? And I never would have got there. If somebody had said, because I had tried it before. I'm like, okay, I'll go without dairy for 2 weeks. And I still got a migraine. See, it's not dairy. Okay, I'll go without chocolate for 2 weeks. See, I got a migraine anyway. Thank God it's not chocolate, So I had glanced at dietary issues and didn't think that it was that. But I guess it was, and I have to add before anybody, because I'm being all I'm a vegan now, I do still eat fish. So that's not really vegan. It's pescatarian, but I want that full credit for going off dairy and eggs. So that's why I say vegan.
Right, that's something within itself right there. Yeah, because I went pescatarian at the beginning of this year. I did not think I was going to be able to give up fried chicken. Fried chicken is my thing. I love me some chicken 2 or 3 times out the week. But I really have been sticking to my pescatarian diet and making sure, because the big thing was my vitamin deficiency, and I used to have acid reflux. And so me drinking a lot of tea and honey, it helped me with my acid reflux. And so now I'm able to eat fruits and vegetables and things, and really just nourishing my body as well. And I can 100% see the difference, because how you said you was bedridden in extreme pain. I was as well, because they were prescribing me the strongest painkillers to be able to take. But I'm like, well, I can't live my life on this thing, so what is the alternative? They said there was something wrong with my heart, my brain. I was hospitalized 2 different times. I went to all different doctors, and all the CAT scans came back every single time when they tried to scare me, because I knew God always had everything in control. They said absolutely nothing was wrong with me. And I knew that I really had to make a change with God when I was trying to get a shot in my knee, because I couldn't really walk or drive right because my knee kept giving out on me. And the doctor said that out of all the scans throughout my whole body with all these different specialists, he could not give me that shot in my knee. I broke down crying because I did not know what I was going to do, because walking and be able to move is a vital part of my young life. And so it honestly was nothing but my higher source that really helped me to get to this point, because I'm back running, walking and things, but I really know it stemmed from my mental state of mind of wanting change, of wanting better, and releasing a lot of negative things out of my life.
Wow, what a journey. And I mean, you really, it sounds so intense. It's like your soul was like, okay, we're going to do this all at once. Let's go,
Right.
That was
by myself, too, in the middle of
COVID.
You got through it. I was here by myself in the middle of COVID.
Oh, Kira, I wish we had known each other. I would have given you a session.
Oh, yeah, my mom, she was definitely my support and my strength. But, just in the household, you can't really be around each other. And even going to the hospital in the middle of COVID, it was just a lot. But I feel as though God would never put on me anything I can't handle. And it just really made me mentally stronger on things. So
yeah, and you're never so young, too.
And
yeah, now you're going out and helping other people and really spreading the word,
Right. It definitely was a life transition, and I feel like it was something that was needed for me to get to this point that I'm at now, because I feel like every day is an evolution. We're all evolving, but it changed my mental state of mind, and even finding people like you to show me and to show other people of things that in our communities we're not exposed to. And that does lead me to, can you tell people a little bit about clairvoyance? Because there's so many clairvoyant people out here and they don't even know it.
I love how you say that they don't even know it, because I believe that everyone has clairvoyance and clairaudience and clairsentience and all the clairs, because that just means clear. Clair, the root of the word means clear. And I strongly believe, I just know that we are all connected. We are all directly connected to the creator of all that is, the universe. We don't have to sacrifice or suffer to get to that connection. It just is. It's unalterable. And so when people are clairvoyant and they're, earning their living being clairvoyant or whatever it is, or just helping their friends with it, they just have honed in. And certainly some people have it more easily accessible than others. Some people are just born seeing auras around people and knowing when somebody's going to die. And you know what I mean? They just have that going on. But everyone, even if you feel really quote unquote normal, everyone actually has intuition and has that ability to ask the universe, please show me. That's all it is. We're just having to quiet our minds, which can be challenging, all the chatter and all the doubts and all the, habit energy stuff. And we just have to get through all that and remember our connection. We don't have to create our connection. We have to just remember our connection to this divine healing energy and just ask and then listen. So I think that's what people aren't so great at in our society. When we talk, if I say pray, we all think of talking, the Lord's Prayer, and and that certainly is part of prayer. But also, I think the more important part of prayer that we've kind of forgotten, most of us, is listening, and that's more what meditation is about. So what people need to do is just sit and remember their connection and ask their question and then listen to the answer and realize that the answer might not be in words. It might be. I a lot of times get words in response, but it might be in an image. It might be in a feeling. It might even be in a sign later in the day that, actually I was just working with a client and she was like, this hummingbird keeps coming up to me. I don't understand what this hummingbird, I don't even have any flowers around me. And I was like, real quick looked up hummingbird, meaning, and it means that joy and happiness is coming to you. And that was exactly, she had been feeling really lost and afraid and had made a big change in her life and was very unsure if she had done the right thing. And this hummingbird was following her around. That was a sign from the universe, So it might be in a sign like that. It's whatever language you speak. You know what I mean? What's your language? Is it more in words? Is it more in images? Is it more in signs coming to you like that? Is it more like reading books, watching stuff on YouTube? Whatever your thing is, that's how you can listen to your intuition. And certainly I teach all kinds of, techniques to actually just sit down and do that actively, because it is a skill that's just like any other. You wouldn't expect to go, I want to ride a unicycle and just go and buy a unicycle and expect to just ride down the middle of the street with it. You would understand that you would need to take a lesson, and then you would need to really practice really a lot. You'd go a few feet the first time and feel really successful about that, and then you'd go half a block, and then you'd go a whole block. You know what I mean? We understand that practicing when it comes to other stuff in our lives, but with listening to our intuition, people seem to be they try for 5 minutes, they're like, no, I can't do it. And so that is one of the things I teach people is, easy energy tools to tune into your clairvoyance.
Right. I think that's very important. So I appreciate you, especially breaking it down so other people can really understand, because it's something that really shows you that things are limitless that you can achieve in a positive manner. And we get signs all the time about different things as long as we pay attention to it.
Yeah, and a lot of times we're just so overwhelmed and so busy and so, feel so burdened that it can be hard to pay attention because the physical takes over, especially if you have kids. I understand even if you don't have kids, you're busy and burdened and, but like when you have kids, it's like, oh my gosh, now I have to take care of them, and now I'm homeschooling them apparently, and now I'm, you know what I mean? Like it's so easy to just sacrifice yourself and not have boundaries on your time and not literally feel like you don't have 20 minutes in the day to take care of yourself, to tune in to the universe for yourself. And you do have 20 minutes. Take 20 minutes that you're spending sacrificing yourself and instead sit down and tune into the universe and receive. Receive love, receive support, receive healing, receive health.
Exactly. So before I let you go, can you tell people, give an example of two different techniques that they can do to really calm themselves? Like one, I want you to tell about the 4-7-8 technique, and then another one that you have that people can do to really kind of, release themselves a little bit.
Yeah, 4-7-8, you mean the breathing technique?
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah. So that's a really good one, Kira, and it's really super simple. So people can just do it like literally right now. So our breathing, breathing is life, right? And so the way that we breathe when we're under stress, and stress can be almost anything. It can be being afraid you're going to get COVID. It can be physical pain. It can be, the emotional stuff about, oh my gosh, I need to, make more money, or I don't have my soulmate. Why can't I get love? All those things are stress, and it can make us breathe in a constricted way. We start to breathe shallowly without even realizing it, and probably we've been doing it our whole life. And then it's a vicious cycle, because then you're breathing more shallowly, and then you're not really getting the energy, the oxygen even all the way down to all of your cells in your body. You're breathing with your upper chest instead of from your diaphragm, So there's a really easy way to just improve your breathing, even if you feel like, I don't know how to meditate, I can't meditate, Just do this. So you breathe in through your nose, and in your mind you breathe on a count of 4. So 1, 2, so let's actually do it. Okay. Breathe in a little slower than usual, and I'm going to count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then hold the breath, it's comfortable, for about 7 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then let it out through your mouth very, very slowly, as slow as you can, on the count of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I sped up the 7 and the 8 a little bit because I was talking in between. So now I'm going to do just how you would breathe. So you're breathing in through your nose, holding it for a bit, and then breathing out really slowly through your mouth. So breathing in slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, and then breathing out slowly through your mouth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I drank some water so I don't keep clearing my throat in your ear. So
I know you're good.
That kind of breathing, and you can do it even with children. I usually, with kids, I do it with my hands so that it's like in a kind of a rectangle shape, and that's how I think of it in my mind, even as an adult. Like I'm going up on one side of the rectangle, across the rectangle is holding it, and down the rectangle is letting it out really slow. Yeah. And so that is going to it's a simple physical thing that will affect you emotionally, that it will calm you down. And the other thing that I really use in my own life, and I teach my clients and students to use, is tapping. And that would be a little hard to to show people just with the sound without the visual. But, oh my gosh, it's all over online. If you look up EFT tapping, it's a way to just cut short that fight or flight response that we all have in that deepest amygdala part of our brain. And we can tap these different acupuncture points. So instead of stimulating with needles, we're just stimulating with tapping our fingers. So it's easier. And you're just tapping on these different acupoints and letting your system know that even though this is happening, we don't deny it, we don't push our emotions down, we don't pretend that we're fine. Even though this is happening, I completely love and accept myself, and I'm okay. So, and just tapping on those points lets your amygdala know, yeah, this is happening, you're right, this is happening, but it's okay, I can be calm. And then it lets like that frontal lobe where you have like logic, you know, instead of panic, that's when it lights up more instead of that amygdala that's like, fight or flee, you know, and most things in life you can't fight and you can't flee. You're stuck there. And so you have to let your system know it's okay. We're going to be okay.
Yes, I actually love the one that you did on your Facebook, and I shared it on mine, and a few people, it resonated with them. It's something that I actually really love because I still do sometimes. Like I grew up in an environment of fight, flight, or freeze, and so we always are in that mind state. And so the thing I do like about the technique is we have so much self-doubt, or like the negative things come first in our mind of it. And so it's kind of like a reverse psychology with that technique, and it really does help train your mind to the complete opposite because you're already getting out all the negative scenarios that can happen. Then like now you're able to focus on the positive things that you're really trying to put into the universe. Can you tell people where, like, if they were to go on YouTube, can you spell it, or what they can actually look up so they can do it within themselves?
Absolutely. So I'm at beyondyourbelief.com. And if you go to beyondyourbelief.com and enter your name and your email, you'll immediately, within a few seconds, receive this PDF that shows exactly what you're talking about, these mini videos of how to do this, how to do EFT on yourself, it's a nice little easy meditation, going into the theta brainwave and muscle testing, a couple other things, and then I list the most common beliefs that I found in my clients, negative beliefs, and then some downloads from the universe to start to go beyond those beliefs. So is that what you meant, or do you mean just the EFT, like it's emotional freedom technique or tapping is what people can just Google for?
No, I definitely want, after we discuss this, I want you to let them know about the different freebies and things they could get on there. But if they would say in their car right now to go on, not in the car, oh Lord, you know, but if they was at, like, you know, just on their lunch break right now, and it's like, oh, well, what did she say? What was that technique? Can you spell it out, or what the actual, that specific technique is called?
Yeah, it's EFT. It stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. And but if they just put EFT or tapping, they'll come up with a bunch of stuff, TAPPING, because it's tapping on the acupoints.
Yes, that's one of my favorite ones. That one, and then the breathing one that we did, because it's so, the tapping one you kind of need to do like a separate space, but with the breathing one, it's something so easily that you can do to really just calm yourself in the moment.
Yeah, I don't know where I mean, I feel like I made it up, but I probably didn't. I'm sorry, I don't know exactly the source of that 478 breathing. Probably connected with emotional freedom technique. There's something else called, it's called TTT. What does it stand for? Trauma something technique. Hold on. I'm looking right now at all my little books. I am just blanking out on it, but if they Google TTT and EFT together, TTT is an even easier version of EFT, and they beautifully in like schools where there's been a shooting, villages overseas where they've been, they're war-torn places, and the women have been raped, and the men have been killed in front of their families, and like they're using these techniques, pretty simple techniques, with these people who have experienced extreme trauma, and they're working. So that is, it's called TTT, and I'm still trying to figure out. I can email you, and maybe you could
Trauma
put it,
tapping technique.
on your page later.
It's called Trauma Tapping Technique, a tool for PTSD, stress relief, and all the other things that you had mentioned as well, emotional trauma and things.
Thank you. That's it. That's it. So if they want something just super simple. Yeah, and there's little moves in Eden Energy. So that's another Eden Energy Medicine. Donna Eden is such a beautiful healer, and she teaches people to use their own energy, to heal their own bodies, and to just feel better during the day. So there's it's hard to explain it just with audio and not visual, but there's a way to just kind of teach a kid or you yourself, give yourself a hug, rub yourself on the outside of your arms, cross your hands over your heart and hold it and breathe. Such easy things for people to do, and it really makes a difference and can really help them to get through, because these days it's hard, I'm not going to deny it.
Right.
Things are hard. And these simple little things people can add to their routine and teach their kids and their families, and, really make a difference and feel better. We need to feel okay, we can't just all sit in our heads and meditate. We have bodies too, and we need to feel good, and we deserve to feel good, and it's not hard.
Exactly. We have to love on ourselves first.
Yes. That I keep learning that lesson over and over, Kira. When I get depleted with all that I'm trying to do, it's like, again, you're not nurturing yourself. You're not allowing for yourself, It's like, oh, shoot, I don't have time. Yes, you do. You don't have time to not love yourself. Yeah, love yourself, nurture yourself. Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell us about a few things they could find on your website?
Yeah, right now it's just, I only have one page of my website up so far, but the rest is coming in maybe a month. So right now, though, already they can find it beyondyourbelief.com. Like I said, right now it's just entering your email, and you get all of that stuff. You get the videos about EFT and theta healing and muscle response testing, meditation. And you can also go to my YouTube channel. I am probably in the next couple of days, I'll get my videos up there. So that's on YouTube. I'm at Tara Greenway. And you can follow me on social media, because I do all kinds of inspiration there, because I think that's what social media should be about, is what you're doing, Kira, is inspiring people. So I'm Tara_Greenway on social media. And yeah, I am working on getting those YouTubes up on YouTube so people can see exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes, and I definitely would recommend everybody going into at least emailing you, putting the information in, just to have the email just and the tools in general for themselves, because they are 100% helpful, because we are in a time frame of the highest level of anxiety, stress on all different levels, and so I think it's important that we at least try the best that we can to take care of ourselves and relieve as much mental blockage and stress and traumas and things that we can, just so we can be better for ourselves, our families, and our generations afterwards.
Amen. I mean, we're all in this for a reason. If you're here right now, and I know it feels like, why did I come at this time? This is not good. If you're here, you decided to be here. You didn't get thrown down here as a punishment. You decided to be here to learn, and also to be the light for other people, and also I think what this COVID thing is about, and I'm not the only one saying it, is that we've got to save our planet. We have to stop using our planet like it's just resources for us to use up. We have to be in synchronicity with nature, with the earth. Right. And that's when we'll come into more synchronicity also with each other, so that we're not against each other. All of this is to teach us, and I think humans are finally starting to learn. We're a little slow, but I think we are
Right.
getting it finally,
Mm-hmm.
that we have to and we deserve to and get to be in unity with each other. We are all one. We are all connected to all that is and to each other and to the earth, and I think we're learning.
I think slowly but gradually. But one thing is for sure, if we don't learn, the way things are projected in the future, that's a whole different story. We're going to learn today. But
It's
I 100%
it's crisis. It's a
appreciate
critical
you.
time. I think you're right. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
seeing a lot of growth. I really am. I'm
Yes,
seeing
me
people,
too.
yeah, right, that you thought would never,
Mm-hmm.
be into, spiritual stuff. People,
Right.
I do, Kira, one more thing. I do something called Too Much
Mm-hmm.
Tuesdays on Facebook. So at 12:30 Eastern Time, every Tuesday, without fail, I am on there for free, 12:30 to 1 o'clock. You can just tune in, and I give people easy energy tools to deal with all of the anxiety that is going on in their life. Lately, I don't know if you saw that one, we've connected with angels. A lot of times I'm doing tapping with people, meditation, all kinds of different stuff. And if you can't join in at that time, it's all up on my Facebook page, not my Beyond Your Belief community page, but my Tara Greenway Facebook page. And it is up there recorded, and you can go and look at it, because that is just, I've had people that I haven't talked to in 30 years, literally, people that I just grew up with, and they were just teenager, your typical teenager, they were out,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, drinking, and they'll tune in, and they'll just put in the comment box, thank you, Tara, this means so much to me. And I'll be like, really?
Right.
in
It's
my mind,
powerful.
thinking, I never thought that person was into this. And then I remember, last time you talked to them, they were 16 years old. So, you don't know. And people are in this crisis, and that's what's motivating them to reach out and try something different that maybe they wouldn't have before,
Right.
but now they're like, I need help. Okay, let me just do anything. I'll do your crazy tapping on my face thing, Tara. They're open to it.
Right, because I'm tapping on my
So
face and my
I
collarbone or
see
my
I see
elbow.
people actually changing.
All of that. I mean, my armpit. We gotta tap it away. Tap, tap.
Tap it away. Go under your armpit and tap. It works. I
That's
mean, I
all
don't
it
care.
is.
If something works, I'll do it.
Me too. And I'm so glad that you said that, because it's so many people that because they don't know about it, then they're against it. But once you actually open your mind to things that might be helpful, then besides the things that we are structured to know, then you really like, oh, wow, this is something I've been missing in my life, because we're
Yeah.
doing nothing but promoting positive things, positive alternatives to negative behaviors and negative things that we've seen, negative things that we've done. Because I know with myself, I've always prayed with God, but sometimes just a little prayer hasn't taken me to where I needed to be on just real life in my grounded self of things that I needed to help me with my high level of anxiety, my high level of stress. Like, I've been through depression and things, and so I really feel like you implementing a lot of these different tools and things have 100% helped me on seeing the brighter things, because the negative things are skewed around us so much. We just think negative, knowing we have a lot of positive things around, but that's not our forefront of how we're thinking. And these tools and different things that we're just trying out, it's so many different things, because one thing works for one person and it might not work for the next, but just really exposing yourself to so much knowledge that we have now, especially with social media and things. It's like, just whatever helps you be the best version of you, I feel like that's what we all need to try to explore and see about.
Amen. And there's so much out there. And I mean, as much as with my kids, I'm like, oh, I hate the internet. I hate that they're on their computers all day. You know what? It has been amazing to bring people what they need that they never otherwise would have been able to have, like all this stuff. It's been amazing. So even I have to admit that.
Right. Well, I thank you so much for being on here. Can you leave us with one of your mantras, one of your mottos that you live by in life?
Yes, Kira. First, thank you so much. I love the work you're doing. It's been a joy to talk with you. I think, what is my mantra? I usually don't think of it that way, but when you say that, I absolutely know what it is. It's, you are always completely connected. You are always completely connected. So I guess if it's a mantra, we would be all saying, I am always completely connected, because I think what we feel, especially lately, is isolated, cut off from what we need and what we want. We want love. We want health. We want abundance. You're already connected to it. Just look up. So that's it.
Right.
I'm already completely connected.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I absolutely love that. And I wish you so many blessings and so much love in life.
You too, Kira. We'll stay connected. Thank you so much again. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.